Hi, welcome back to another pivot table tutorial. In this video, we're going to cover a feature that one of my previous DaSy colleagues once referred to as the miracle of miracles, and that is the ability to spin off multiple pivot tables for multiple subgroups based on a single pivot table. So let's say we're interested in looking at variation across the state in the implementation of an evidence-based practice based on some child outcomes indicators. So for this one, we're going to create a new pivot table. So let's go to our source data, and of course we insert pivot table on a new worksheet. Let's call this sheet Program Implementation Status. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see better. And for columns, we're going to use the progress categories for the social emotional outcome. For rows, we're going to use the Program Initiative Implementation Status. And for values, we're going to use a count of the child ID. So we'll right-click here, Summarize Values by a count. And we're going to actually look at this by percentage of the row total. And we'll back out our decimal places to make things a little bit easier to read. There we go. And I'm going to make just a few other design enhancements under the design area. I would like to look at this in the outline form so I can see my headers more clearly. And I don't like the order, so I'm going to reorder the none category to the top and partial to the middle row. So now we have them in order from none to partial to full. And I would like a simpler style, so I'm going to change my style under this box up here to something like this light version. And I would like to use the banded rows feature. Perfect. So now we have our pivot table exactly where we want it to be able to view our data across the state. So these are our data statewide, but let's say we wanted to look at these regionally, and we wanted to replicate the pivot table on multiple pages in order to share that information with each individual program. The key here is to add a filter. So let's add a filter, and we could add EI program is probably the most sensible. It can be any variable that you want, but for our case, we're going to use the program name. And from here, make sure you click anywhere in the pivot table and go up to Pivot Table Analyze. And on the left, under Options, click the drop-down menu and click Show Report Filter Pages. You'll get this box that pops up, and it's going to recognize any of the filters that you've added, and click OK. And you can see it automatically added pivot tables in new worksheets for each of our programs individually. So when I click on Program A, it's showing the same data but spread out for Program A only, Program B, Program C, etc. Now take a closer look again at the new tabs. They are all, of course, currently in one file, the same file we've been working from since the beginning. If you wanted to separate them in order to share them individually with your programs, there are several ways to do that. The first, and perhaps the easiest, is to simply click and drag to encircle your whole pivot table and copy and paste it. However, this might be a little more challenging for much larger pivot tables that take up a lot more real estate on your screen. In that case, you might want to use another feature, which is to click inside your pivot table, go up to the Pivot Table Analyze area, and under the Actions submenu, click Select Entire Pivot Table. And that will automatically grab the entire pivot table no matter how large it is. Another completely different option is to go back to the Home tab and click under the Format area on the Cells submenu, and go down under Organize Sheets to move or copy sheet. And we want to create a copy. We don't actually want to move it from the original workbook. And we want to send it to a new book. Now this is going to create an entirely new workbook. You can see I've got a new file on my screen here just for Program C, which I had highlighted previously. And of course, you may wish to do this separately for all of the individual programs. This is a great time saver for providing more tailored information to your local programs.